Hi, Nick Drury here. I'm presenting my MA in photography with Falmouth University collaboration project. I was a police officer. I served with Humberside Police in the year 2000 to 2005, working with a child protection team and working with a major incident team. We was dealing with several murders at one time. My role at that time was a disclosure officer and also an indexer, working on the Homes 2 project. From there, I went into teaching, and I'm now program leader for HE criminology within a university. These are just some of the items that I used as a police officer, and the images that you can see are the first draft attempt at what I did for my photographic project, which is a book which we'll be looking at very shortly. But as you can see, some of the photos there are about police training, which I'll give you more details on shortly. And this here, the evidence bag, is what my book will be presented in, and we'll open that very shortly. Important number, as I served as a police officer with Humberside. 826 was my collar number. The Maglite torch there served its purpose many a time for 5 years. And as we move across here to the handcuffs, which is where originally my research stemmed from, which was looking at hands in handcuffs, and maybe I will revisit that sometime. I have a fascination with hands for several reasons. I had an accident whilst I was at work when I was 18 and managed to lose several fingers. That fascination has continued with what the hand can actually represent and portray, and the jobs that people do. And again, like I say, something I'd like to read. A few of the key texts I've used within this module that's totally relevant to the research area that I'm looking at. The Contest of Meaning, which has given me some good reads around collaboration. Taken Down in Evidence by Reagan has been a key text I was directed towards by one of my tutors. An absolutely amazing read around the police officer, their duties in Ireland at such political times. Ouija, with his early imagery of murder scenes, again is a little bit of an eye-opener, again with different rules and regulations in the UK of what we can and we can't disclose. And then there's a couple of theory textbooks there based around criminology and visual criminology, which seems to be an up-and-coming area of research that I hope to continue further studies in once I finish my master's. The book, okay, the book comes in a police evidence bag, relevance to the police, and we'll remove this from the evidence bag now. So, police protection protects the police is what I titled this book. The reason I've done that is because not only do we get lots of negative press about the police and the police actions, we also get lots of press about how heavy-handed the police are. This aside, I think society needs to understand the stresses and the pressures that the police are under and the type of things that they have to do in the role that they do. And for me, that took me back to my training. So what I've done as part of this research is I've returned to police training, but as an observer. So I've been observing new recruits going through their training. For me, hand manufacturing a book is something new, something that I've not ever done before. I'm used to sending books off for print. So again, this was new, but it was great to be creative. The book itself has several relevances in here. Like I say, it's not complete. There's areas where text needs to be added. This here is a copy of a stop and search book, something as a police officer that we had to carry with us all the time, fill in every time we stopped and searched somebody, so that statistics can be recorded. The image you can see here represents a new recruit, very young chap, with lots of learning to do before he's allowed out on the beat and to police by himself. The next page shows an evidence bag, just a copy of an evidence bag, and shows several police officers there beginning to do a land search with 3 observers following behind to make sure that they're doing it correctly and to give them pointers and hopefully help them become better police officers when it comes to searching for evidence. The next page here just shows a scene of crime, a small scale marker used to place down next to objects so it can actually represent the size of that object. And I think one of my favourite images from the whole event is this police officer using his mouth to hold his torch whilst he's searching a vehicle. Interesting concept if you haven't got enough hands. The next page again, top of an evidence bag, and the image itself shows the police officers in the wooded area doing a search of some objects they've found off to one side of the footpath. This page here shows an exhibit label, and the images, top image shows police officer searching a bag next to the A board, which was telling passers-by that there was police training exercise ongoing. And the bottom image shows 5 police officers there being briefed prior to stopping a vehicle and searching a vehicle and how to do it correctly and safely. The next print here shows a DNA evidence bag used for collecting samples for DNA. The image again shows an officer in training and just arrested a young chap for possession of drugs, and is just putting the handcuffs on and double locking them again for the safety of themselves and the safety of the person wearing the handcuffs. These next images all relate to a vehicle search. The officers are searching a vehicle for illegal items. During this search they came across weapons, drugs and cash. This next page has got details of what would be in a DNA sample bag. The evidence label I'm holding in my hand was added as an extra for a bookmark, so it can be placed in any of the pages. And the images show, first of all, a gentleman pointing out some youths causing annoyance in an area where they were asked to go and speak to the youths. The second image there shows a person who's just been handcuffed, and looks like the officer is just attempting to get the handcuff key out, which again has a double locking mechanism on the handcuffs to stop them from collapsing further and being tight around somebody's wrists. This image here shows the young police officer we saw earlier on attempting to take a baseball bat off of one of the roleplay students. Again, quite an interesting conversation took place there because there was no really offence there. The girl had the baseball bat for playing sport and not for any other reason, and the officer made the mistake of diving in there and taking it off her without thinking about it. So again, interesting reason why training takes place. The form itself here shows the DNA completion form to put in details of a person that's been arrested if DNA needs to be taken. So that is my book. I've really enjoyed making it and look forward to the next project. As the legal process for handling exhibits is that an item is placed in an evidence bag and sealed and signed. This is what I'm about to do with this book. Again, never to be opened until somebody breaks the seal and has good reason to take the book out of this evidence bag. bag is no seal, and an identification number would be put on later on. The authority is Humberside Police. Court exhibit number would be my initials, NPD, and as it's my first exhibit, 001. RV trainee police officers, and the description is a book showing images of trainee officers, and I present my evidence to you.